Welcome to another AMA with Kadena Ecosystem. In this episode, we'll be speaking with the team from Tech Fleet. This conversation was recorded on January 27th, 2023, live on Twitter Spaces. The views and expressions in this AMA do not represent the views of Kadena Ecosystem directly and are not to be considered as financial advice. Please make sure to do your own research on the projects presented. Also make sure to follow our account to be alerted of new uploads. Now let's get started. Enjoy. Welcome everybody to another AMA with Kadena Ecosystem. Today we are talking with Tech Fleet. They are a very cool community that is helping drive the adoption and development of the Kadena ecosystem, and I'm very excited to learn what they've been up to. It's been a couple months, I'd say, since the last time we spoke with them, so I'm sure there's lots of new things that to go over today, so let's get right into this. Morgan, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and give a brief description of what Tech Fleet's all about. So take it away.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate being back on Kadena Ecosystem. It's really awesome to hear all the great things you all are doing. So we appreciate the grind. But for those who don't know Tech Fleet and what we do, we're on a mission to create fair access to tech careers. A lot of the journey of getting into tech today is extremely daunting to people coming out of school. Doesn't matter if you're a developer or a designer or someone who's doing research, someone who's doing business strategy. It is extremely exclusionary today. And so far in the world, there is no way to, without getting a job and being on a team, build actual experience before you get the job. At least in America, entry-level jobs in tech are now requiring years of experience, which is completely ironic. It's an entry-level job. Why would you expect somebody to have previous experience on some type of entry-level ground-the-floor job? And the ones that are ground level are usually for people that are in college or they have some type of privilege around it. And it doesn't serve the people in Africa. It doesn't serve the people that are trying to get into tech from retail or hospitality. And so that's what Tech Fleet focuses on. We help the people that are the majority of the talent pool and potential talent pool in the future of tech. Developers, designers, researchers. We help them break in by coaching them through on-the-job team building with client work. So as a community, we're an agency, so to speak. We kind of take on nonprofit client work, and we work with Web3 projects as well. We ourselves are building on Kadena and Flux. And in the work that we do, we help people kind of perform user-centered design by performing research or talking to people about, their current needs and behavior before we go back to the client and say, this is what we would recommend going ahead because of the problems that we face today. And it's all in the context of coaching people how the real world of this type of stuff actually operates. There are the things that you read in the book in theory that are really great to read, and you need to read them, and you need to go to school and get that foundation, and then you need to go out and practice that, and you need to know how to bend the rules and break the rules. And we coach that. We're a big coaching facility for agile processes, whether that be through development, product management, user experience design. We are coaching right now the bleeding edge of those standards that haven't really been standardized so far in the industry today. And our goal this year is to become a nonprofit professional association on top of the DAO that we're operating, so that we can try to aid the mission as much as we possibly can. And I would love to be able to find ways, even though we are incorporating in finding our presence in America, I want to be as global and autonomous and borderless as we possibly can. There's so many more people to help in the world. And so I'd love to keep seeking and growing that global reach.
Now, on top of being a community that is there to teach people and show them the ins and outs of the Web3 space, you guys are also working on building some things of your own. I believe the last time we spoke, you guys were talking about building a wallet, building a whole bunch of these different things. So let's maybe go back around. Is there any updates on some of the things you guys have been working on? I believe the wallet has the name of the Kadet wallet. which sounds really cool. So how far have you guys been going with that? Any new updates on that front?
Yeah, that's been great on that end. We've been incubating open source apps that I would love to take omni-chain one day, but they're being built for the purposes of the Kadena blockchain and solving some of the biggest problems that we in the community experience as users that are kind of getting into the blockchain for the first time for Kadena specifically. Kadet Wallet is a great example of that. And I think Koala Wallet does a really great job of that as well. But the beginners of the space, the people that aren't in the tech, those are the people that have the hardest time today getting into tech for Web3. Right? There's a huge learning curve, as we all know. I've been in crypto since 2020, and even I, as a technical expert, had to learn a lot of things, and there was a pretty huge learning curve to this stuff. Try learning Pact and see how big the learning curve is for someone who's getting into it for the first time, or even someone who is your typical database developer or server developer today. Huge difference in how it all works. So our design challenge with Kadet Wallet and with the trading analytics tool that we're building, there's a couple other open source tools that we are incubating in the community that will always be open source. And also with our own Web3 platform, our huge main focus of this is usability, self-evidence. How intuitive is the thing to use for people who have zero clue what chain 2 means on Kadena, what cross-chain transfer means on Kadena. The fact that people don't even understand that you have to do that in the first place is the design challenge that we're trying to solve with these tools that we're building open source. And so we do it through a lot of iterative means in these team apprenticeship projects that we do. A team of researchers, designers, product managers, and developers get together for 8 weeks, and they work to continue solving the problems that the previous apprenticeship team has had. And so these products evolve. We're currently in the phase of pretty heavy design and validation for Kadet Wallet and trying to get the development into beta for that. And the other products that we have been kind of like building open source are in various different phases of work. But the common theme among them is that mission that everybody, I think, seeks on Kadena projects, which is to get the newbies into crypto. Make it so that it's completely invisible. The blockchain is a second thing that nobody ever has to think about. That's how we increase mass adoption. And that's the theme that, like, even in Web2 projects that we work on, we focus on intuitiveness, focus on self-evidence, focus on usability. Those are the things that will drive mass adoption. So for an example, for Kadet Wallet, sending Kadena from any chain is something that we as a community have talked about for a long time. It also happens to be one of the biggest confusing things for new people coming, even from Ethereum. Even the people that are used to Ethereum make mistakes trying to send cross-chain transfers or get confused when the cross-chain transfer doesn't finish and they don't even know that they have to use a tool to get it. Or, they sent it to a non-K account and a bot squatted it. Goodbye funds. Those are the things that we can prevent from a UX standpoint. They can help try to mitigate that stuff. Also increase awareness, right? Increase the knowledge of you're teaching people at the same time you're getting them to use it. But my goal is to make the blockchain invisible, completely invisible. It's a really hard thing to do with Kadena, but it's not impossible. I think we've made a lot of strides. Some of you on the call might have been user test participants too. And so if you were, thank you for participating and giving your perspective. But TechFleet takes the approach of just continuous validation to everything that we build.
Yeah, I fully agree there that there are lots of boundaries getting into the Kadena ecosystem, let alone blockchain as a whole. And the easier you make things, the more turnkey and the less people realize that they're even using blockchain, the better. But it's a whole nother beast when it comes to crypto. I come from a background of extensive crypto wallet support, and I always thought that one of the biggest hurdles I find for people who have never gotten into crypto at all wall, and like say like you're going through Twitter and one of your friends tweeted out something about Kadena and was like, hey, everyone should buy this coin and blah blah blah, and then people start looking into it, looking into the wallets and things like that. It's the simple things that seem to be like the simple basic concepts of crypto, like writing down a recovery phrase or private or securing your private keys, things like that, that people really seem to struggle with because it's brand new to them. The concept is new. You're not used to having to be the one that's fully in control and fully responsible for everything, right? Like you're not responsible for your credit card. Like if you lose your credit card or something like that and someone goes out and uses it at a bunch of stores, all you have to do is contact your credit card company and they can reverse all that stuff and do all that kind of stuff. That's not possible when it comes to crypto. So
Right.
it's a fine line between making everything turnkey and simple and hiding all that in the background, but then also educating people on what they have to do. So it's definitely a
Yep.
very fine line for sure.
Yeah, I totally agree. And to add another like challenge that I think builders face in the crypto space is trust. The Web2 communities, the people that are in the world right now operating and using apps that are not Web3 have generally a really poor conception about crypto right now. And that is a huge obstacle from the perspective of UX, huge obstacle from the perspective of long-term engagement for things. So in the project, we actually had that be a primary focus of research for the Kadet Wallet project apprenticeships over the past two phases of work, and are definitely looking at ways that we can increase the trust through maybe not only just visibility, but I think there are other factors involved, like preventing people from making mistakes on the blockchain. That builds trust. I think letting them know that there are more possibilities beyond just the meme coins of the world, the NFT collections that are just collectibles, the things that they see in the media, even play to earn games. There are so many more innovations to get your hands on, and it actually happens in the experience of like people's behavior in the world. From what we know from the second phase of research, it comes pretty late in the process of them learning crypto. People typically start on, from what we know today, Robinhood, Coinbase, Kraken, whatever other like layperson exchange they can get into. Maybe they start using Trust Wallet, or I think everybody has an origination story of like where you started. I started on Robinhood, quickly moved off that, and eventually landed on MetaMask, and then worked my way into DEXs. Like we have researched that experience and where the awareness comes in to start building the trust with people that aren't in Web3 today. And so like that also is a huge focus. It happens even before the wallet, because they're most likely getting in from Coinbase, and it's not even that people are replacing Coinbase with something else. It's like they're adding tools as they discover nodes, as they discover staking, as they discover NFTs. So we, in the apprenticeship, documented all that through research. And we have some pretty exciting stuff coming up. Not ready to announce it yet, but to try to like build the awareness, the education, the engagement, and like the trust for people that aren't in crypto. To me, it's pretty exciting. I think it will really push like Kadena and the blockchain forward.
One of those ways that you guys are going to be pushing it forward, if you guys don't follow Tech Fleet on Medium, they have a lot of really great articles, and make sure you guys go and check them out, read through their articles. You'll find a lot about what they've been working on and what they're coming into the future. And one of the things that I was reading about that seems very interesting is the the Tech Fleet Talent Network. Can you maybe go into a little bit about what that's going to involve?
Yeah, I'm super stoked about the Talent Network. The Talent Network is going to be our attempt at building a participatory economy on Web3. All the people that we're helping right now in this community are future talent for employers, for people, for projects on Web3, for big companies, for new companies. And the Talent Network that we're building is going to be a way for people to actually make opportunity out of it. So they come in, they do their apprenticeships, they learn the ropes, they get into tech, and then in the talent network, we'll have opportunities for them to come back and coach and give back to others by coaching and get paid. Give back to being a lead on a project, which is a big step forward. Having exclusive opportunities for them to teach others by bringing their own apprenticeships. Maybe they have a course in some other field that they went into that they want to give back to the community with. They can offer that educational thing in the talent network. And beyond that, I would love to start standardizing Agile UX. I would love to start standardizing the way that product teams build products on Agile methods in mostly the Web2 traditional company world. I want to be able to standardize that for Web3, for anybody in the space, so that our talent pools can bring those Agile coaching skills to the table, be able to contribute as way better researchers and designers and developers to anything that they come on board with. And the talent network is going to be the main central platform that we're going to have all that opportunity for.
So it's going to be so people can come to Tech Fleet and they can take all these educational courses through you guys, learn all about how Web3 design, Web3 UX, UI, managing, product management, ownership, all that kind of stuff. And then once they've done all these courses, then they pretty much you guys are kind of then using your system, this talent network to kind of promote them to businesses and other entities that are looking for people to do these things for them. It's kind of like a talent pool, pretty much.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, and on top of that, there's a lot of, in addition to the courses that we're going to have, we might have certs, we might have boot camps, things that you can watch, things that you can read. TechFleet's main primary focus of education has always been on doing and application of what you're learning. So we'll have the theory, we'll have the the videos and the tutorials and all that, and then paired with that will always come with get on a team, go practice your skills, go build your client facilitation, go work with a hard client, and go solve something that has never been solved before with a team. Go explore a problem that has yet to be solved in Web3, right? On an apprenticeship. And over time, you start doing those types of things. You take your tutorials, you take your certs, you take your education, and you apply it in apprenticeships. We're going to track that in our digital ID. And you get that, you basically get that as a member of the association. You can mint it. It's a soul-bound ID, and it tracks your experience. And we'll use that for purposes of quadratic voting. We'll also use it for the purposes of validating peer skills. So we can showcase that to employers, and we can actually say, this person has done this experience, they have these skills. We'll have to have some type of mechanism for consensus to make sure that the information that we store in that digital ID on the blockchain is not false, right, or tampered with. And so we're working on those details, but the digital ID that you would get minted in TechFleet is basically your experience tracker. And we'll have basically different levels of talent. So if you come back as a contributor and you want to get paid as a lead and you've done 5 projects, we'll have different types of freelancing pay structures. That's the plan right now. So we can use that to our, the community's advantage, so that if you are someone who has validated experience in that digital ID, you can level up more as a freelancer in the talent network. And on top of that, we'll have basically our access, lifetime access through our NFT. So you'd use that for your lifetime membership into this organization and professional association that we're building, that you can rent it out to others if you want. Let's say other people want temporary access, or you can sell it in the end. You can hold it for life, and you get the perks for life.
So these talent IDs are pretty much going to be if I want to sign up and become part of the Tech Fleet crew and learn all this stuff and take all these courses, this digital ID is kind of like your entry fee or your subscription to that service, which gives you full access to all of the different programs and learning tools and stuff that you guys provide.
Sort of. The tradable NFT would be that. So we're going to mint on, we're planning on minting on Arcade. And if you own that NFT, you'll have lifetime access to this. As you move up in the community, or if you come in fresh, let's say you're a 10-year senior in the field of marketing, and you're trying to get into tech, you can mint that digital ID. We'll track your experience based on the marketing that you already have. It's also used for our DAO voting as well. So we'll apply that measure somehow to quadratic voting. But the thing that would provide the access to the platform for life is the tradable NFT. That makes sense.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about these tradable NFTs you're talking about. So you're going to be splitting them up between different platforms. So you're going to be using Arcade as one, and then you're also going to be minting your own on the network and saving some for the DAO for scholarships and partnerships in the future, right?
Yeah, that's the plan right now. And the details that I have in that article, if they ever do need to change, we're going to pivot as we need to. We'll definitely communicate this stuff out. But the plan right now is to support as much of our non-crypto community as possible, while also supporting the Kadena community to get into the talent network. So that's why we're splitting it. I know we need some way to kind of support the people that aren't using crypto today in our community. If y'all haven't been in our Slack community, it's booming. It's huge. Probably over 3,600 people now at this point. But the reason for splitting is simply because we want to give more opportunity for people without having to purchase crypto or get into it because of the trust issues I was talking about before. And so that's more about accessibility than anything. The NFTs we're going to reserve are going to be used for scholarships. The plan for the platform is to have a blockchain lottery contract that would determine some type of recipients of free lifetime access membership too. We'll use that as the purpose of scholarship for people in the world who may not be able to afford to get in. Right? We're on that mission for fair access, equal access. So we're also here to support the people that can't pay. I don't want to use that as a barrier to anybody. Somebody wants to get in, you don't have the ability to afford it, there are ways that we're going to provide support for you. And so the admission schedule probably has yet to be sorted out. We're going to reserve a certain amount of NFT per year for scholarships. And the other angle to that is the reason that we're reserving things in the DAO treasury for the NFT is to partner with companies and schools. If companies and schools want to guarantee lifetime access and apprenticeships to the people that they're trying to train. This is a Career Foundry has 1,000 people coming out of their boot camp per year. It's a lot more, but they would be able to partner with TechFleet to guarantee access to their students, and we would use that in reserve to serve those purposes. So that would open the door for companies who want training for their employees in Agile or development or research or design. Maybe in Web3, they would be able to come to TechFleet and reserve lifetime access so that they can guarantee their people spots. In addition to that, we're serving the 99% of the world, not just the people that can afford it. So there has to be a way for us to provide that equal access to people as well.
One thing that really sparks my interest about this is the renting aspect. So let's say I go and I get myself one of these NFTs. I can then put that up for rent and make money off of renting it to other people and set the parameters of the rental myself. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. And the reason we want to do that is maybe not all of the world wants to own a digital piece of property, right? Maybe they are trying to only get into TechFleet, get one apprenticeship and get out. And they don't want to have to go through the trouble of, buying the asset before they get in. We'll support that through means of renting. If you're an NFT owner, the plan right now is to have a pool. We would have something in the treasury that would allocate to this in the DAO. And you can put up your NFT, lock it in the rental pool. And then it would provide an ability for someone to rent for 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. That's the plan right now. And so let's say you're a new person coming out of boot camp and you're so close to the job, you just want a little bit of training and education in TechFleet and you want out. You could do that. You could rent it for a month or 3 months. You could rent it for certain purposes, in theory, and that's okay. The person who owned the NFT still owns it. the revenue that comes in from there would, be dispersed such that we're going to have to incentivize this type of thing. So everybody look out for details on that soon. But this is the plan currently. But the problem that I'm trying to solve there is honestly access over anything.
I really like that idea. It's like, so let's say, for example, I know someone who has bought one of these NFTs, and I'm looking through your list of all the different programs, and you're like, oh, I really want to do this one program, but I don't want to buy a whole lifetime subscription. I'm going to be able to then just kind of rent or borrow someone's NFT to access this, take my course, and then pretty much give the NFT back and walk away knowing that I've got this course. That sounds really interesting.
Yeah. And I think it will really help people, provide that entryway into the services that we provide. Maybe they do come back and what matters to me is that they're able to contribute their things that they learn to others in the community. That's how this community has thrived over the years. So I want to actually have other ways to earn those pieces of access too. Let's say you do come from the marketing field. You're a project manager. You're a senior marketer. I want to find a way to incentivize it so that you can earn that through coaching marketing, through coaching project management, coaching what you know, so you can get access to what you need to know, what you need to learn.
Yeah, that's extremely valuable. It's, you see out there all the time that there's people like offering courses for this, courses for that, or you have to buy like a subscription to them or something like that. This is just opening up another avenue for people to be able to learn and kind of cherry pick what they want to learn instead of having to go for the full route, the full subscription kind of thing. It kind of makes it opens, like you said, it opens up. It breaks down the inclusion and lets more people have access to the system, which is exactly what you need in something like this, because it's an educational thing. You want people to come in, you want people to learn, you want people to be able to hone their skills or learn new skills, and then take those to their communities. And there's a good chance that one person's like, hey, I learned this really cool skill from Tech Fleet. You'll have more people that'll be like, well, I want to learn that. I want to go learn these things. So it might be worthwhile at that point for one of these communities to buy one or two passes themselves that they can then rent out to their own community members so that they can learn and become more involved in their own communities.
That's a great way. I have always encouraged that in like the form of philanthropy, like that reservation in the treasury for our NFTs to give out to scholarships, and even other partner communities like Kadena Ecosystem or Kadena themselves. If we partner with you all to provide those services yourselves, I think that increases the access even ever more, especially when it comes to learning Pact and learning Flux and learning, the other intricacies of technology on Web3. That will give us an ability to really specialize in those types of things, which I have definitely thought about for a while. Today, we're mostly a UX and like product management and Web2 development agency, education platform. And getting into the world of Pact community boot camps, Flux community boot camps, I think will help like push this forward.
For sure. I'm one thing I want to compliment you guys on is the fact that you've built all of this without really having a website or anything. Like your website is right now you're pretty much a placeholder right now, but you guys are hard on work on that. So can you maybe talk a little bit about what people might see from a full website and what they can expect? Is it going to have some kind of like interactive dashboards, courses built in? What can we expect to see out of the new and improved Tech Fleet website in the near future?
Yeah, that's a great question. We're heavily working on that with content and research and design right now. I'm taking the lead on that and trying to launch it soon. It's going to be a simple version to start, just getting people what they need. To your point before about us not really having a web presence, I've always been about the operational side of things and have put priority on making this community scale, operate at scale, grow the amount of people and the amount of apprenticeships and the amount of success that we can take on. And we've totally done that. And that's without a website because we don't really need it. We just need people in the community giving back to each other and contributing to the greater good. We've gotten up to the point of 13 live projects last year, which is a monumental growth milestone for me in my mind. And to scale more, we'll keep focusing on those operations. But we are going to build a platform, working on a website, working on what's the experience of how much on that website is going to be read versus videos versus going to the docs. I look at everything from a usability perspective. So you don't want it to be overwhelming, but you also want to get people what they need when they need it. So there's going to be a balance between there on techfleet.org versus the docs that we currently have in Notion versus the platform. But we'll be looking to evolve that. And so the information website is probably just going to be the basics, who we are, what we do, how we work, what can you get out of TechFleet, what are the possibilities, and driving people to the docs, driving people to the community to get in. And then the platform is where you apply you would join through NFT and then apply to any of the projects that we have open, any of the apprenticeships or other types of educational opportunities.
Yeah, it's all about just, opening up the avenues for people in a clean, simple way that, click and point kind of thing would be your best bet. And it's going to be, we're slowly getting to the point now in Kadena where we're getting the tools that we need to be able to do these things. Like, for example, speaking from ourselves with Koala Wallet, we're getting close to implementing our Wallet Connect feature, things like that, which are going to be a huge aspect, because you have to be able to, if people are going to have these NFTs, they're going to be able to they're going to need a way to be able to connect their wallets to these different dApps like your platform and others for verification that they own an NFT and to be able to access these things. So going forward into the future with your NFTs, are you guys looking at your NFTs going to be Marmalade standard? Are you going with, since you're going to be on Arcade, I'm assuming it might not be a Marmalade standard. What are your plans for that going forward?
It's a great question. I don't think that whatever we decide is ever permanent. Today, we're going to make a decision about how to move forward in the first phase of things. Arcade is an amazing platform. KittyCat and other community contributors have really helped push Marmalade to the point where we are, as a community, ready for it. And that Marmalade is ready from a feature complete standpoint. And at the same time, I don't want to block movement going forward, right? And so I'll take an iterative approach to whatever we decide to do and what makes sense from a feature standpoint, from a user experience standpoint at the time. It's also really good to push Marmalade forward, right? In terms of the capabilities, and getting that market complete is really important. So I'm always on the ground trying to help contribute to that. And whatever we are going to decide is going to be the best decision in the moment.
Yeah, it's not really right now. I know that there's lots of projects that are trying to work on getting their NFTs over from their Butter or whatever non-Marmalade, fully Marmalade standards to the Marmalade standards. So I'm sure that in the future, that's going to be something that's going to be more widespread, more available to people, because that is one of the problems when it comes to Kadena, is that there needs to be some set standards for certain things across the entire ecosystem, and that's just the way. Networks and blockchains work, and we're slowly working our way there. The Kadena team is slowly working their way to upgrading, and they've really been listening to the community lately, which has been really great. So I'm hoping that, within sometime this year, we'll be able, as a community, along with the Kadena team, be able to nail down some of these loose ends. And once that happens, the community is just going to blow up. It's going to be absolutely crazy, I believe. And it's people it's people like you guys at TechFleet and others that are going to help push that adoption by teaching people the skills that they're going to need, and just, being a major presence and a major player in the ecosystem.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think at the end of the day, all the projects that are building right now and delivering right now and trying to work towards something right now are doing the Kadena blockchain such a huge service. I have such a bright future for Kadena as a whole. And it also should never block any forward movement progress if something's not complete. We should keep innovating. We should keep delivering, taking that agile philosophy and delivering something that meets needs. And we are keeping our ears to the ground to validate and keep delivering and keep iterating on what we deliver. Same goes with whatever technology we're going to use, whatever protocol we're going to use for Marmalade or non-Marmalade stuff. Even that is not a permanent thing in the end. And yeah, so you see a lot of projects doing that, kind of reacting to as Marmalade gets more and more feature complete. We're just going to keep, as a community, delivering and iterating on things. That's the way to success in my mind. That's going to push Kadena forward. That's going to push us forward in a community, like as a Kadena community with all the projects. I think it'll also push adoption forward, because the more that we're actually able to deliver things that are usable, the more we can actually hear the feedback with live projects, live products. The more that validation can be then fed back to the team. So I love it. It's very encouraging to hear and see all the projects that are continuing to innovate, even given the limitations of the blockchain today. Because the blockchain limitations today should never block anybody from innovating what they currently can. And it becomes a cyclical thing, right? We keep building, they keep innovating. We keep building, they keep changing.
Yeah, very well said. It's definitely, that's what breeds development and breeds innovation, is finding yourself up against a wall and finding a way out of it. And really, that's what it comes down to, and what's going to really push the whole ecosystem forward. Now, for people who don't know and want to get involved with Tech Fleet and things like that, what's the best ways for people to get involved? Like, if people want to start doing these lessons right now, is that an option for people, or is everything still kind of on hold until the NFT system and the website comes out? Or like, can people right now jump in, get involved with you guys and start learning?
Oh yeah, everybody can jump in right now in Slack. The educational stuff that we have going on today starts with you observing teams. You could do that, watch agile teams work, and get a sense of how they work day to day, what a developer does with a researcher and what a product manager does with a designer. You could do that today. Anybody in the world can go in and Tech Fleet Slack and look at our calendar and join a meeting. Watch shadow teams for a week. Anybody in the world can also apply to apprenticeships, and that's our educational platform today. Our educational platform is you join a team as an apprentice or a lead, and you work on that team for 8 weeks and get trained and coached along the way and mentored. And you're also in the thick of it with your teammates, and you're going to make a bunch of mistakes, and you're going to fail, and you're going to get real confused and frustrated. And that's the education that will lead you to being a better contributor in development, being a better contributor in research, in design. So you could do that. Anybody can do that today in Slack. We actually have our beta platform up that we're kind of like iterating on for people who want to like apply. There's a mix of projects that are on there right now. We had last week 8 open apprenticeships. They don't stay open for long. The sheer number of applicants is in the hundreds for each project. And if you want to be a lead on a project, you don't need experience. We don't look at resumes. We don't look at portfolios. Everybody else in the world looks at that stuff, except for Tech Fleet. We'll give you a chance if you commit to it. You commit to yourself and you commit to the others on the team and are willing. So anybody can jump in at any point. In the future, we're going to have that membership access. But until then, the community is completely open to everybody.
Sounds like a great opportunity right now for people to get involved before it's put behind somewhat of a type of paywall, I guess you could say. But we'll
we'll always have like a free,
even without that.
Yeah, we'll always have some way in. And like try to keep it as accessible as possible, 100% welcoming, and like zero barrier to entry for, if you can't afford it, we're still going to help. There's still going to be ways. But the structure and what comes with that is a lot of other official perks that we're kind of working toward with the NFT access.
Now, another thing I want to congratulate you guys on is that you've just recently celebrated your 2-year birthday. You guys have been around for quite a while, considering the Kadena ecosystem really has only been around for I want to say maybe a year and a half, some projects. So you guys have really been around for a while. Now, just to get a little background, did you guys originally start with Kadena, or were you on other networks to begin with?
No, surprisingly enough, we were going to be, and we're still going to be, a nonprofit. We were going to only do a 501c3 foundation. And that was in 2020. And I realized just how much of a global reach we can do with a DAO and just how much power we can give to the people that are contributing to this community in a DAO. And moreover, stop those instances of like centralized manipulation in nonprofits and for-profits with a DAO. And so in 2020, we were a community that was never going to get into crypto, right? That was not even on the radar. And I got into the blockchain starting with Kadena and a lot Flux in 2020. And in 2022, I realized the DAO is the way forward. And keeping that philanthropic and charitable nature of things kind of came back full circle to that nonprofit. But the DAO is there so that we can be completely decentralized in everything that we do. It comes with the infrastructure, it comes with the power to the people versus the power to the chosen few at the top. Everything that we do should always be decentralized. And so now we're planning on doing both. Chose the Kadena blockchain because it just made sense. Like from a feature standpoint, from the capabilities of Kadena, like what Kadena does over any other blockchain is a no-brainer.
Now, the DAO that you speak of, how do people get involved with that right now without the NFT aspect being part of it? Is there a voting section in your Slack or something like that?
We do, yeah. We just started it. We had a lot of like really fruitful discussion going on in Slack, and I've always taken the approach of like continuous feedback. But we have an official voting channel now. And honestly, as a DAO, we've existed since 2020 because DAOs are online communities that are like serving a common purpose, right? We've always been on the mission of creating equal access to tech. We're not on chain, but we're still making decisions across distributed teams as an online community. So we're decentralized and autonomous today in human nature, right? And we're just going to add that to the benefits that come with on-chain governance, preventing the manipulation and the human error. I think in this community, there will always be humans involved. Vitalik had a really great article that he wrote about concave versus convex decision-making and how DAOs who are online communities can easily integrate human plus blockchain governance. And we're going to be a good mix of that. Today, we're completely off-chain. I'd love to start using Swarm's finance as soon as it's ready. And anything else that comes out like for on-chain DAO governance would be great. It's definitely a plan for 2023.
That's great. It's definitely DAOs are definitely something that are going to be super beneficial, and if you can get them on chain, that's even better because it brings an immutability to it where you can't have any kind of real cheating because you have to own like an NFT or something to be able to even vote in the DAO. So it also keeps your community together, keeps people involved, and gives everyone an equal say, which is really great.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Awesome. Well, I don't know if there's anyone listening that has any questions that they'd like to ask Tech Fleet. If so, send in a request to speak and we can definitely pull you up here. But I know I, for one, am super excited. I've been following you guys ever since I got into Kadena. And just the fact that you're bringing value to the community is what's really most important. And, we need more projects out there that are doing it for the benefit of everyone instead of just kind of building their own projects for their own nefarious or whatever reasons. So it's really cool. It's really cool though to see like more. I'd really like to see more community type projects like this come up, and hopefully people will take your courses and come out of this better and maybe start their own educational processes from it. So that's really cool. We got TSN Crypto here that had a question, so I brought him on up. Go on right ahead.
I just wanted to say 100% I support what you're doing. the Web3 education is a key piece for everybody moving forward, but not just in general what you're doing, but across the board in terms of Web3 and everybody. Even Web2, the tech skills in demand are going out of proportion. So I think if you need any support or you need anything, if you need any help with your website, give me a shout and I'm here to help.
I totally appreciate that offer. I will absolutely take you up on that, man. You're welcome to jump right into this. Anybody, I appreciate that offer.
I've been through the like a government apprenticeship, but I think what you're doing needs to go down to like in 10 years time you're taught sort of micro courses and learning, and then further educational courses into full modules at university are going to be a key assets. Yeah.
Yep, totally agreed.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you
thanks
very
for the
much for the
support.
kind words there. Yeah, that's awesome. We got Ron that came up here. Ron, if you have something to say, feel free to go right ahead.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
All right. So
Yep, you're all good.
So excuse my ignorance. I was a little bit into my own rabbit hole for a while, and I've been trying to network a little bit and find out more about some other projects on the Kadena, like on the Kadena ecosystem. Can you just give me like a 30-second elevator pitch? Just show me real quick on basically what you guys got going on. You know, I'm a little bit ignorant. I could have done a little bit more of my own research, but I'm definitely interested. It seems like you guys are definitely solid.
Yeah, sure, Ron. I'm happy to. So like we're a Web2 community today, moving into Web3, so to speak. We exist in Slack mostly. And what we do daily, all of the things and how we operate exists in Slack. But our mission is to create equal access to get into tech careers for the people that don't have the privilege, don't have the finances, don't have the education, don't have the time to go to college today. That's our elevator pitch. Super high level. The tech that we're building is going to be Web3 primarily. Kadena and Flux will host on Flux and will be operating on chain for Kadena.
So is it kind of like?
And I'd love to share the details of that, Ron. That I'm like happy to like meet with you and talk about our plans.
So is it kind of like a business to business approach? You know, where like kind of you can help other projects succeed?
Yeah, there's an angle for that for sure. We operate as a community agency today. So when other Kadena projects come out, like we're working with a couple right now to help them in their user research and user design efforts. So we'll help B2B from that angle, nonprofits, entrepreneurs, Web3 projects. We have a lot of different types of clients. We also incubate our own stuff that's open source. So TechFleet plans on owning products open source in the community and maintaining products in the community as well that better the blockchain, better the experience of people that are trying to get into the blockchain. And from the other end, from the people that are trying to get into the community and learn, we're more like in a professional association where you come and you get education, you get coaching, you get experience building, you get training alongside peers in all the areas that you want to learn in tech. It could be design, research, product development, product management,
I think
marketing,
that's really cool.
QA, DevOps. Yeah,
no, that's awesome. It's
so
like empowering the community kind of, and I think that for a lot of us, we may have already have skills that could be valuable kind of in the Web3 space that we kind of just don't really look at as valuable because maybe we're not using them for like a career kind of outside of crypto and whatnot. But I kind of just joined towards the end, but I'm excited to see where you guys go and maybe build out on Swarms. We're actually thinking about at Wizards Arena building a DAO on Swarms. So I'm super excited for that too.
That's great. Are you on the Wizards Arena team, Rob?
Yeah, so I'm kind of like I'm kind of a de facto operating manager. I just do a lot of the speaking and pretty much I'm the face of the project, but I'm also a moderator and I help with a lot of the marketing and some of the graphic design.
Nice. I love Wizards Arena. Huge fan.
I've just seen it. I've not got one yet, but I need to get an NFT. But I just wanted to add one more thing, to be fair. I just wanted to say, like in the Web3 space at the moment, it's a huge learning opportunity for everybody. And these skills are cross transferable from Web2 to Web3 and vice versa. So the more you learn them, the more people can come on board to Web3. So you're going to be taught and then teach in the future. So I look forward to it.
I totally agree. I think in that regard, to what you both are saying, Ron and TSN Crypto, like the people that come into this community that have skills to contribute, I think should have ways to earn their membership into the Tech Fleet Association and I think that just does the ecosystem way better all around, because if there are people that have a lot of like community building or marketing experience, being able to get
I don't come from a
set of
marketing
people.
or community building background. To be fair, I work in business intelligence for a major publisher. That's my day job.
That too.
Yeah.
I want to make it so that people like that
And
can come in
I
and
work for
contribute those.
I work for a company that has sort of a faith in that truth is power. They're a pretty big company, but I learn every day, and then what I like to do is share it. And I think what you're moving towards, and well, you're not moving towards it. You are launching it. You're not moving towards anything. You're building a learning platform from scratch, which is a huge undertaking in itself. All props to you. Keep on building.
I appreciate that, man. It's great to see it, because we have a human platform, so to speak. Like, we have a bunch of people pitching in, like you're talking about, giving back to their community to this day. Hundreds of people at a time are in these apprenticeships right now. Slapping on a platform on top of it is kind of like a secondary means to an end, in my mind. And it's very necessary to scale, and it's not the primary end goal. The primary end goal is what we're doing right now is trying to build the global pool of talent that isn't being built today, because people that are getting fed out of school are not ready for the world. They're not ready for the industry skills that they need.
And that's why I completely agree with you, because I went through, I'm in my 30s now. I went through a government apprenticeship scheme in data analytics. And that fast tracked me to move forward with my life and sort of take the skills forward that I learned. So I learned SQL, I learned R, I learned Python, I learned a lot of valuable skills. And the Web3 skill base is going to be the skill base for the future. And
yeah,
it is what people need to learn now. And my kids, I will be encouraging to code. And I think they've already got a niche for it already. My daughter's costing me a fortune, but if you incentivize people to learn, they might not initially want to do it, but there will be a lot of people that pick this up. But it's not just that; it's an interesting hobby. It spikes people's interest who are interested in data. Not just blockchain, but data in general. It crosses both worlds. So I speak to a lot of people every day in my day job, and I'm like, I'm speaking to people who are launching AWS, S3 buckets, launching data projects, working at a global scale. And you mentioned something to them, and they're like, oh, okay, I didn't realize that existed. There is a place for that education piece to take place. So 100% props. Keep on doing it.
Yeah. Well, join the mission. You and everybody else on this call. Like, if you all are trying to get some type of skill set built in tech, what we do is we educate by doing in Tech Fleet. We don't have course content to watch or read. You read handbooks and then you jump right into the projects after you apply. And everybody levels up in that way today. But we will have course content and tutorials, and we host a lot of like live talks, and it's a lot of live community events happening today. There'll definitely be recorded stuff in the future, but anybody who wants to get in to this community and really at the end of the day, if you want to get into any type of field in tech, the way that you do it is you go onto a team and you build those cross-functional skills. You learn how to work with the people that aren't doing your role, and you fail forward.
Or you might succeed forward and grow yourself exponentially.
Yep. So brilliantly stated.
Awesome. Well,
TSN, we'd love to have you in that. We'd love to have you contributing in any way that you want to give out help. I would love helping hands.
Yeah, drop me a follow and drop me a DM, and
yeah, man,
we can connect.
Thank you for the offer. Appreciate that.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys both for coming up and having your say. Hopefully you guys can get involved. And for anyone that wants to get involved, make sure you guys go check out techfleet.org, join their Slack, get involved, join all of their channels, follow their Twitter, and educate yourself and become part of this really cool system that they're building. And it's all up and up from here. So I want to thank Morgan for coming in and talking to us today and keeping us up to date with what TechFleet's doing. And hopefully we can do this again soon. Maybe once the NFTs start rolling out or something, we can catch up again. That'd be really great.
That'd be awesome. Thank you so much for having me on and giving us the time to like converse about this stuff.
Awesome.
Thanks
More
for
than happy
joining
to have
the
you guys
community.
on. So, of course,
Yeah.
like I said, if there's anything else that we can do to help you guys and help promote, always feel free to shoot us a line. We're always looking to help people out and make sure that they get the promotion they deserve. So, like I said, thank you guys all for joining us today. Thank you for TSN Crypto and Ron for coming up with some great questions and some great chatter, and for Morgan for joining us and teaching us about TechFleet. So I want to thank you guys all for coming, and hopefully everyone has a great day.
Awesome.
Thanks
You
for
too.
coming on.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Have a great weekend.
All right, thanks everyone. Take care.
That wraps up another amazing AMA. Thank you for listening. Here at KPN, we strive to bring an open platform for projects being built on Kadena to present themselves to the community. Please ensure to do your own research on each project before investing. Also ensure to follow us on all our social media, from Twitter to subscribing to our weekly newsletter, to ensure to keep up to date on everything KDA related. You can find all the links in the description below. Take care.